What the fuck going on? Yeah.
That fresh northern chill.
Oh, these hoes thirsty out here. Stay hydrated, my friends. Northern chill.
And welcome to a new Waterwave TV interview. We got the one and only, the big, the tall, the scary, the ominous, the monster in the building.
What up, what up?
How you doing?
Good, bro.
You just flew in yesterday?
Yep. Back to the motherland.
Oh, man. All the way from, where do you live in Texas?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Now, yeah.
Okay. You're born and raised in Minnesota, though, right?
Yep.
Okay,
I was born in Grand Rapids. Then I grew up in the cities. And then, like, when I was 14 or 15, I moved to Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you move to Texas?
So I was always in the streets real bad and running around and just, I was in juvie a lot. And I just had this conversation earlier, actually, at fucking breakfast. But my great-grandmother, she passed away now, but she was just too old to handle these winters. So my whole family used to live up here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So she moved first. She moved to a spot in Texas because the warmer weather and everything, and it was just kind of, you know, better for her. Then slowly, my aunties, my uncles, my grandma, everybody started moving except my mom. And I remember I got locked up, and I was probably in juvie for like 6 months. And for whatever reason, she decided to move to Texas too.
Mm.
So when I got out of juvie, they put me right on the plane, sent my ass down south. And then the second day I was in Texas, I was in juvie in Texas. I tried to push this kid down the steps.
Damn.
But there is a reason.
Okay.
We don't got to go in depth. But that's why I was in.
Why you moved to Texas?
Yeah.
Mainly the weather, and then it just became the better spot to live. What were you doing at a young age to getting in trouble? Like, what was your trigger for doing bad things? What were you doing at a young age? I know you talk about it in music a lot too.
Yeah. But I was angry. I was always angry. So I don't know. I don't know. We did everything, right? I mean, ran in houses, ran in cars. We wanted it. We took it. Vandalizing shit.
Mm-hmm. What was growing up like in Minnesota for you? Like, I guess, like your childhood, and I guess maybe the reason why you became who you are today. You know?
Yeah. Well, it was more negative than positive for sure. We want to go like all the way deep.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. My little brother's dad was my stepdad at the time, and he used to beat my mom and beat me on the regular. And it wasn't like a little ass whooping or nothing, you know. It was like full on getting beat to the point where one time I remember she was getting beat and I was trying to jump in and I was trying to stop him. That motherfucker grabbed me. I'm like 5 at the time, 5 or 6. He grabs me, he throws me out, and he locks the fucking sliding door. Then he drags her to the fucking sliding door and beats on her. And I'm trying to get up in that motherfucker, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's what my childhood was like. Damn. A lot of that until I was about 11 or 12 and I decided, fuck you, I don't like you. They weren't together anymore at the time anyways. Mm-hmm. But you know, when you're a kid, you kind of think like, even though negative things are happening or bad things are happening, you're still like, well, it's my dad or my father figure, because I don't know my actual dad, you know, that was the closest I had at the time. Mm-hmm. So it's like one of those weird things. And eventually he had put his hands on me one time and I was already kind of like pressing that teenager age and I'm like, actually, fuck you, you know? Mm-hmm. And that led to me being angry all the time. Okay. Right? To where I would not really smile. I wasn't really laughing about a lot of things. I wasn't really, you know, around girls, I wasn't like, ah, ha, ha, ha. I was just kind of like, fuck everybody pretty much, you know, for a long time. And then I started rolling around with some vatos and shit like that, and we started just acting a fool. Mm-hmm. And if I wouldn't have moved to Texas against my own will or whatever, like if they wouldn't have moved to that small town in Texas, I don't know where I'd be. Yeah. It'd probably be worse than anything I did go through. Yeah. Bigger city means bigger consequences, bigger opportunity, bigger retaliation, everything that can come with, you know? Yeah,
and all the people you already know, the connections you already have, it's a lot easier to, you know, stay in trouble when you know what's going on versus like you just got put into a new area.
Yeah, because it's going to be around the same people I grew up with my whole life or whatever. So, yeah, but my childhood wasn't all bad. I mean, I have a lot of good memories too.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that kind of turned me into. I have a quote, one of my songs that says, "It's funny how this trauma turned me to some type of leader." Because most of my fan base are these people that are they're broken.
Yeah, searching for some type of help or some type of where they can reminisce with you or feel the same feelings you're going through
Exactly.
in your music.
Yeah. So I have a special bond with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I get messages on saving people's lives and how my music has helped them through addiction and like abusive, whether it's mental, physical, or just being a better person in general. I don't claim to be like I'm some fucking, but I used to be one way and now I'm.
Not the other. You paint the blueprint for
Exactly.
there's ways to get there. There's a light at the end of the tunnel when the tunnel looks like it's dark as hell.
And a lot of people think like there's only one way to be. And by a certain age, you're pretty much a lost cause or you're not.
Yeah.
Same thing with like chasing your dream, like rapping.
Yeah.
If you don't make it by a certain age, you might as well give up type shit. Most people do.
Yeah.
And then some people don't.
So moving to Texas after that, did you have like a different mindset? You said you pushed a kid down the stairs 2 days in, but like when did the growth phase, or I guess you're still really young, so you probably had a lot that still even happened after that, because I know now you talk about how you quit your addictions and everything, so there's still, like at that point, at like 16, before you went to juvie and went to Texas, were you experimenting with drugs and stuff like that at that point, or did that come later in your life?
Yeah, so I was 11 years old, and I just was like 11 years old, I smoked weed for the first time. Ain't nothing major, weed and beer. And like liquor and shit like that, right? My cousin Pooh, shout out him. Then when I was 14, I remember I was looking for my homie. We used to stay at these apartments on Wright Street, right off Wright Street. And he was like my best friend at the time. And I was on the run. I remember going on the run because I was on juvie. So I went on the run for about, I don't know, a few months. And I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm out here. So I was at these apartments, right? And there's a lot of crackheads and fiends and shit around there. But me and him weren't really into that because we're only 14. Well, he ended up leaving to go with his girlfriend or whatever. So I was just kicking with the crackheads. Well, we had no weed. We had nothing for me to get some release or whatever. So I said, well, fuck, y'all got meth. Let me try some meth, right? Which sounds crazy as fuck thinking like
how old did you say, 14?
14.
Jesus.
Like, I'm just a 14-year-old. It's just like, well, let me try some meth. And I'm on the run, too. Like, nobody knows where I'm from. Nobody knows where I'm at. And, like, technology wasn't exactly like it is now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it was a lot harder to find me, too. Anyways, these motherfuckers said, all right. And I smoked meth for the first time. And I remember sitting at this computer all fucking night listening to Tech 9. And
off the meth?
Like, off the meth, bro. Like, that's so fucking crazy, bro. I'm 14. Why the fuck am I smoking meth, right? And I stayed on meth, bro, for a fucking month. And this shit's even more crazy. It's nasty too, but I had no shower for a month. I didn't eat. I mean, if I ate, it was like barely, like barely, like bag of chips every other day or whatever the fuck, like barely anything. I went to living with a certain couple to a different couple. None of us was sleeping. And it got to the point that my fucking mind was like, I would be looking at you and talking to you, and you'd be like, hey, man, I love you. I love you, bro. How you doing? Right? But I'm looking at you, reading your lips, and I'm so fucking delusional from 30 days of no sleep. And I'm a kid, too, right? That it would be like, I'm thinking that you're saying, like, I'm going to kill you later. It was fucking wild, right? So it's like that kind of extreme. You got to remember, I'm an angry kid. Yeah. Because once I left bro's house, I was always fighting people. Like every other day, every 3 days, I'd be in a fight somewhere. Fist fight. It'd be a grown man, kid, don't fucking matter. I was just mad. Like, fuck the world, right? So now I'm fucking 30 days in, and all that shit's happening. And eventually, I don't know what happened. I felt like everybody was talking about, this is the same story, but everybody was looking at me. One thing led to another. I fucking went up to the fucking top floor of the apartment. I just laid in that corner and slept for like a day. Went to my mom's house. She found me. Let me sleep for a couple of days. Fed me. And then I went to juvie. The cops came to pick me up. Obviously, I was on the run. But for like a probation violation at the time. And then I got out. And I continued to experiment with things. Crack, cocaine, shit like that. But my preferred drug is Xanax. I didn't get into that till I went to Texas. So after being in Texas, maybe when I'm like 16 or 17, I start fucking around with some syrup and some Xans. And now at this point in time, I've tried all the drugs, right? I'm trying them all, you know, Molly, all that, that. And yeah, so that's how it started.
And then as you got older, did you when did you go sober? Was that
Slowly.
yeah? Like I guess like
Completely
that's a
sober?
big jump, but like yeah, like 'cause I know you I forget you made the video about it that we posted, but was there like when did you like I guess become fully sober? What year? What age was that?
I became fully sober at probably like 28.
Okay, so from basically like 16 to 28, were you like on and off with different drugs, taking all of them? What was
Yeah.
I guess like,
Yeah.
and then were you making music during that time too? I guess like.
I was making music. So I came back to Minnesota at like 18 years old. I went to IPR, Institute of Production Recording, right up the street. You know what I'm talking
Yeah. I don't think that's around anymore.
about?
I think it closed or
No?
like
That fucking sucks. It was a really good school.
the guy that's coming here today though he went there.
Really? That's fire. Yeah, I went to IPR though for a couple months. And then I dropped out because I didn't care about school. I didn't even care about music school. I just didn't give a fuck about nothing. I just wanted to do something. So wait, what were we talking about again? I went to IPR.
Were you when you from basically the age of like that 16 to 28?
Yeah.
Like you're still battling with taking substances and stuff. Were you going from one to the next? Were you taking them all? Were you where were you at basically in life during your drug phase that you kind of have gotten away from?
Oh, it was about making music. So I went to
During that
IPR.
time, yeah.
I wasn't heavy on drugs at the time. I was just drinking a lot.
Okay.
By the way, I'm a bad drunk though. Like 90% of it's fun, like really fun, wild boy shit. But 10%'s bad. Like no one wants to babysit a big dude who's wilding on everybody.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about.
So like the 10%'s a motherfucker. It kind of makes the rest of the 90% not even like do like nah, we're good on that. Anyways, I went to IPR and I met a dude named Nicky Gwiggs, and when I dropped out, he was still going. And at the time, you can get free access to the studios.
Yeah.
Studios weren't as accessible 12 years ago or whatever, 13 years ago. So I made a mixtape called Mind of a Monster. And when I made that, I moved back to Texas and I started passing that bitch around. Keep in mind, I'm not on the hard drugs though. I'm just drinking a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm passing out the mixtape, and I'm feeling like I'm the king of fucking Texas, like all that shit. Right? Minnesota showed me a lot of love. It's like both ways. And then eventually, I start taking, more drugs and doing less music until it comes to a point where I'm not doing music anymore, and I'm like in and out of jail, and I'm fucking with Xans a little bit and perks and shit like that. But I know when it got really bad for the Xanax, which is my preferred drug, is I was in a big car accident where I was projected out of the vehicle 20 feet and it flipped 3 times and I broke my hip and my pelvis. And
like you got shot out the car?
yeah. So we were at a house party and everybody had passed out. Now during this house party, I'm popping all the pills I can find. I don't give a fuck what it is. You got it, I'm taking it, right? And I'm drinking. Everybody in the house passes out, and there's one dude named Dino, and he lives in Michigan now. Shout out him. But he was asleep, but I knew you'd take me home if I pressed hard enough, right? And I'm fucked up. We're all fucked up. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning. And I woke him up. I'm like, hey, take me home, bro. And he was like, no, I can't. I'm fucked up. I'm like, take me home, man. Come on. He's like, no, I can't. I was like, bro, go be in a bitch. Take me home. He said, all right. We get in the car. We're driving. And he falls asleep behind the wheel going like 80 on this sharp turn. And I wasn't wearing my seatbelt at the time. That's really what saved my life. Plus all them fucking drugs, And he flipped the vehicle and it flipped 3 times. And I was projected out of that bitch 20 feet. I got scars on my feet and shit from the glass hitting him, take my shoes off, And I broke my hip, my pelvis. I woke up in the hospital. And, they said that when they found me, I can't remember this because I was out. But they said when they found me, I was screaming for my mom, which is super, like, what? Like, that's soft, but it kind of ties in with my most popular song, Being Alive's son. But yeah, so I woke up in the hospital, and then eventually I went home, and they obviously gave me, like, Oxycontin and shit like that. I'm munching those, and then what's going to happen? Oh, I need something different. oh, Xanax is fire, and I could trade these for Xanax, and I could start, I prefer Xanax over that, right? And then it gives me that numb, that courage to do whatever the fuck I want. Then I start hollering at the plug about, let me get a front on this. Now I'm popping Xans and I'm running around with fucking people I don't know, and then I'm not doing music anymore. If anything, I'm freestyling. I'm like the fucking clown at the circus, right? I'm just like, I'm just here to entertain everybody and fucking freestyle. You know, prove to these 10 fucking people I'm the best or whatever, you know? And Xanax got real bad. I was taking like, 10 bars a day type shit. If I didn't have one, I woke up, I start having issues. And then that went on for a long time. And Xanax was actually the first thing I kicked. I was in jail. I was having seizures and withdrawals and shit. And I got out and I went to a house party. And I realized, I popped a Xan and I realized nobody wanted me around. I could just tell by the body language. They were just kind of tolerating me, my whole family. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. So I stopped taking the Xans. It was just like willpower. It was like enough reason. It was something bigger than myself, you know. It wasn't a house party. They had a house party before I got out. So I walked into a house piano. Anyway, so I stopped Xans, and then slowly after that, I stopped drinking because it was getting in the way of my music. And then, I quit smoking cigarettes because my son ran outside and he started hitting fucking butts on the ground like he was me. And I was like, that's not it, you know? And then everything just one by one.
Yeah.
All negative habits, pretty much.
Yeah, so yeah, basically music, having a kid, growing up, you just kind of realize you need to get that shit out of that. You got some crazy stories, though. I can't lie. You took a lot. It took a lot to get to where you're at today.
Well, to start doing music again, that was, you got to think, I went through all of that, and I quit taking Xanax, and then this and that, and then I met my baby mom, my woman, Stephanie, and I just started getting back into music, so I made a little mixtape with my homie at the time, Knowledge, and I met her. And she believed in me, though. She's like, you got some, let's do this, you know? And she just started kind of pushing me, being a little voice of reason if I wanted to get it. You know, I felt like I had that support, just like, we're going to be all right, you know? We were living in hotels at the time and shit for like 2 years, bro, just hotel hopping, you know? And that's when I started getting back into the music, like hard. And then it started going, you know? And then came MIE, and then it kept going, and now it's...
Yeah, because I say like the past, like since like 2021, maybe like 2020 was probably like a lot of recording still, but like 2021 to 2023 is kind of like when we've been introduced to each other a lot. And I've seen a lot of your music, your recent releases, your albums, singles, all that stuff. Yeah. And you have a big mix of very like meaningful, sentimental music like the Eliza Son, and then you have shit that's like Little Booties Matter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you have like a big, you have like a big spectrum of music that you make. Where does your inspiration come on like the type of music that you make? Is it probably, I mean, you have a lot of life experiences, so I'm sure there's a lot of inspiration through that. But I guess from your mind, where's your inspiration come to make the style of music you make?
Well, when I make like Little Booties Matter and like Man in Here and shit like that, I'm really just feeling myself that day or whatever. I'm just, cause I like to have fun too, you know. But you'll never catch me making like happy music or like, I don't know. I prefer darker music. I prefer them songs that make me feel some type of way. Because like growing up as a kid, when I was angry, and like I remember when I was a kid, I had a fucking CD player, and a lot of credit to my mom because I used to get grounded all the fucking time. So she took everything out of the fucking room one time, but she still left my CD player. So I had nothing but this music with like Eminem album and Snoop Dogg and like shit like that, right? And that's all I had. I had nothing else. So. Yeah.
So yeah, you had the music upbringing. It's kind of it's crazy because when you look back and you actually like talk about everything that we just talked about, you kind of like realize like, dang, you kind of were on the right path to get to where you are today.
Yeah,
like with the music thing, like it's every brick made sense to build the wall to where you are today.
Yeah. You need it, right? Like I talk about it all the time. Like as much as I'd want to live a different life, or I wish I would have, or you know, but I wouldn't have anything to talk about like right now. Like you said. Where's my inspiration come from? Well, it all comes from just things that I've dealt with. You know, that's it. It's just, and I'm emotional with my music, but I'm not emotional in person or like anything like that. So anything I really try to like, I really feel, you're gonna hear it before I say it. Like even like in my love life, which I don't make any love songs. I can't make a love song. I show love differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like you'll hear it. Like, I'll say nice things about her or whatever, but it won't be a love song. You will not catch me. Rooch tried to catch me making a love song. I walked into the studio and he had a little beat going on. He was like, "Yeah, you like that, huh?" He's like, "This us right here," and I'm like, "Nah, it ain't." Can't catch me on that, my
Stay
boy.
away from the love song.
Yeah, if I do a love song, it's gonna be more of a heartbreak song. That's just how I'm wired.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that's just, and that like kind of going back to what you said, like you're like you help these people get through their times and stuff, and it's like, you know, like everyone has to have a purpose on this earth at some point. You figure it out what it is, and it's like it almost seems like you've really found your calling with, especially the recent success you've been having online and people really connecting with it. But some of the people you just mentioned, like Rooch, the MIE crew, Tony Dent. Is Rooch, Tony Dent, and you, right? Is like the MIE music crew. Mm-hmm. Did that start when you moved to Texas and met them, or is Tony and Rooch from here as well? Or
Tony is from Dallas.
Okay.
And Rooch is from Kentucky.
Okay. But you guys all met in Texas?
Yeah, we all met in Texas. So when I moved, okay, so my woman got pregnant in Texas.
Yeah.
We were living in hotels, like I said, and I couldn't afford to live, right? I couldn't afford anything. Mm-hmm. So, what up, my boy? So, anyways, we couldn't survive no more. She couldn't make her money, and I couldn't do what I needed to do, right? And living in hotels in Austin, especially, is super expensive. So I'm like, we gotta go back to my mom's. My mom had moved back to Minnesota earlier on, right? I was like, we have to go back home. So she's like, fine, fuck it, I'm a rider, we'll do whatever. So it's her and my son, and then she's pregnant with my daughter. So we go back to Minnesota, and I have like a decent job, and I got a car and this and that. And I'm like, I can provide for us. We can stack our bread. We stay at my mom's house. She lives in this apartment in Eagan, and we can just, you know, we can do what it do, and then we'll be all right. Just get a little time. I'll get this badass job, and then I fucking tear my ACL playing basketball like a fucking goof, right? Mm-hmm. So now I got to get a surgery on my fucking knee, and I can't provide. So what I had to do, I had to send her back to Texas. Now when she goes back to Texas, I start slowly getting my shit together, but it takes a few months for me to even go back to work and right? So I'm doing all that, and I'm feeling like shit, you know? And I'm having a fault with my family members and this and that. And then, so I bring Stephanie back. I bring her back because I get my shit together a little bit. Now when she comes back, my daughter's born, and I'm starting to make more music. Like, having my daughter really, like, put a fire in me like nothing. Like, I gotta build a dynasty. Like, I can't just be a could have been or none of that shit. Like, no more excuses, right? Yeah. And I started going hard. I hooked up with DJ D-Mill. Oh, yeah, that's my boy. Shout out him. He put me on a Money Soda mixtape, him and Peter Parker.
Go check out his interview. By the time this one comes out, his will be out as well.
That's live, yeah. That's my boy for real. So anyways, I did, you know, I was doing all that, making all this music, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, Hobson was signed to what, Funk Volume, right?
I don't know.
Hobson, okay. Well, they had their own shit called Funk Volume, I believe. And they asked Hobson about it, right? Because it was an underground thing. It was independent. And he said, well, it's easier for someone to fall in love with a brand than it is a person. Because a person, what? You can feel like you're dick riding if it's an artist, right? You're like, I don't know, bro's cool, but I ain't going to say too much because that's kind of dick riding feeling. But if it's a brand, you're going to fuck with the brand because you're not dick riding. You're supporting a broader audience, this and that. So I said, well, fuck it. I need to go make a brand. Monsters Inc. Records, right? That's what it was at first. I switched it up to MIE, Monsters Inc. Entertainment. But I didn't have a car or anything, and I knew I needed a logo because nothing fucking matters. Keep in mind, I'm only dropping shit on SoundCloud at the time. Like, my shit's not, I'm getting like 100 streams max type shit, 50, right? Because I'm trying to get back into it, right? My daughter just born, this and that. A long road of bullshit led me to like starting from zero again. Yeah. And I said, well, I gotta make this fucking brand. I gotta make this logo. So what I do, I hop in the whip, or I hop on the bus, the city bus, and I drove to the fucking public library. And I said, I need to use y'all's computer. They said, bet, we got you. And I go in there and I get on pickmonkey.com. I don't know if that's still the thing, but it's pickmonkey.com. It probably ain't really low key.
I remember that though.
Yeah, you know? Okay. So I went on pickmonkey.com and I made MIE. And I said, well, it needs to be clean, it needs to be simple, but it still needs to be recognizable. You know? And that's what I did. I made MIE. We started pushing that bitch. And it was just me, Knowledge, and Bad Choice at the time. And And then slowly it started building traction. I started dropping more music. I started really, people, you know, the talent kind of speaks for itself. The grind's there, the push there, one person at a time, word of mouth, yada, yada, yada. Then Tony comes to a fucking show in Abilene, and I'd already kind of knew him from the place I went to high school. We went to high school together. We didn't see each other much. I was really never there. And then, you know, of course, whatever. But we kind of knew of each other, and we chilled for that weekend. You know, popping thizzles and shit, just having a blast, right? We're in the studio cutting up, all laughs, and we said, well, fuck it, come on, jump on MIE, you know? And he was like, bet. So he did that. He joined, and then, you know, the bond started building to the point where everybody thinks we're related. I mean, if you don't know us, you think we're related, you know? We, similar features, too, and everything. And then we met Rooch. I met Rooch in Austin. We had a show in Austin, and Rooch, I remember Rooch said he looked at our group, and we had one dude with us who was like an oddball, wild boy, like cringy. Rooch said he saw him and he saw us, and he was like, these dudes ain't gonna be it. But then what came on, 6'3", right? My song 6'3", one of my most popular songs as well.
Yeah.
And Rooch heard that bitch, and he was like, yo, boy, nasty, right? And then I got off stage, and we, you know, dapped up, and I stayed for his, said he was fired too, and I was like, yo. Stayed in contact. One thing led to another, and he was like, shit, come on. All right, we offered him, you know, it's all friendship still at the end of the day. You know? And then it's just like, we're also trying to build a brand. We're trying to build something. Not like a rap group, but we want it to be a, you know,
yeah,
legit
you got to build a business. You know, it's like, that's the way to do it too. Is just, I mean, everyone's got to start from somewhere, and even some of the biggest brands in the music industry out of Minnesota, like Rhymesayers and Stop House, they started with, you know, a few of their friends throwing parties in their garage, and before you know it, they're the biggest names to come out of our state. Yep. You know.
Yep. And that's another one though. Like Rhymesayers is another kind of motivation for the MIE. Yeah. Strange Music, especially. Ever since listening to him at 14 years old on meth. That was like my favorite, right? Like for a long time, he was my favorite for like a long, long time. Yeah. And Strange Music. So I always told everybody I was gonna be like that. I just knew. I'm not trying to say I can see the future, but I can kind of tell. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's like,
you know where you can be before anyone else knows.
Yeah, you got to be self-aware, right? And I'm like, I can have this kind of following, and then people start following me, and it's like, exactly. This is exactly what I'm talking about. People often say MIE's cult-like because of the fan base. Right?
Where do you get most of your fans from? Is it back home Minnesota or out in Texas? Like, where do you, or is it a 50-50 split?
I don't know now. Now I don't know.
Especially with your recent success.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I have numbers in Michigan. Fucking, I have people DMing me, come here, come there. At first, it was Texas. Yeah. A lot. But Minneapolis is one of my most, Minneapolis and St. Paul is one of my most biggest
stream cities
for Spotify.
Okay. Since
I went viral.
That's cool.
And the fact that I wear Twin Cities, everything. Even though I'm in Texas, I only wear Minnesota gear.
Yeah, no, that definitely helps. Like, either makes people think, like, oh, this is this guy out of town that fucks with Minnesota.
Which is still cool.
Or, like, oh, this guy must be from here. Because not very many people rock the TC fitted if you're not from Minnesota. Like, even people that are out here don't even rock it. So
I will rock that shit forever.
That's all I rock, either TC or the
I already know. Yeah, I remember when fucking dude from Twins came and gave me the pack of unlimited shit. And he was like, hey, these ain't even hit the shelf yet, type shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely can get recognized for shit like that. Like, just, man. You know, wearing the same team or the same style or just being a hat. Bald head, beard, hat connoisseur, you know.
Yeah, man. I just, you know the vibes. You know the vibes, you know. But I think I was going to buy other hats, a different team. And it's like, fuck it, you know, clean hats.
Nowadays, there's so many different colorways for each team, though. You don't even have to, like, I remember I would get, like, a Baltimore Orioles hat because I fucked with the orange and the black. But now it's like you can get an orange and black Twins hat.
Rock your shit, you know? Yeah. But it's also different when you live here. You look like everybody else wearing a TC hat. Yeah. In Texas, ain't nobody rocking no fucking Twins.
We got the Yankee or the Red Sox.
Yeah, man. So, product placement. Fucking, yeah, man. So I definitely will always rock Minnesota everything. One day I'm gonna buy my second home here. I'll probably buy the first one in Texas because naturally that's where everybody is. But I gotta come back home.
Yeah, I'm trying to go visit Texas and see what the life is like out there. I want to go to Dallas. It's a big hub for esports. It's Dallas.
Yeah, I'm big into that. Shit. We can. Well,
I think it's Dallas.
When I have a show, I'm gonna put together a show in San Antonio probably.
How far I guess a little side note, how far is like San Antonio to Dallas to like Frisco, like or like the Houston, like
yeah.
is it like in Cali, like they're like 5 hours from each other, like the
Yeah, it's like that.
San Diego. Is it just big? Like I don't know shit about
I was just telling,
geography.
I was just telling Snoop earlier. I said, my brother, who lives here, has been here forever. Jordan.
Yeah.
He complains about 15-minute drive to the restaurant. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
motherfucker, this is so far. You know, I'm not trying to go for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Type shit. But for us, it's like we gotta go 15 minutes to the gas station, or
Yeah.
the grocery store, or whatever. Everything's far.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything is.
Houston is like 4 hours from East Texas, where I live.
Okay.
Then Dallas is like an hour 30 minutes, and you said
So they're
Frisco.
pretty spread around.
Big dog, yeah.
Yeah.
You
But
can
like
fit.
Frisco is the Dallas area still, so it's like just driving to the other side of town.
Okay, kind of
So,
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to tap in with more hubs like that, like even like the Nashville type, cities, and like just the real music head cities that just have big populations that aren't just the stereotypical LA, New York, where
Yeah.
everybody goes. Because there's big cultures in those areas that
Definitely.
are untapped.
And
you
they're
know,
And they're different.
There's some big guys coming up out of Texas right now. The guy, I forget what that
Big
song.
Against the Blood.
Is that the guy? Bitch, I'm from Texas.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard that.
A music video with him.
Really? Yeah, he's
Like,
tough.
that's
I
my
seen
dog. I can call him right
I
now.
seen a
Yeah,
video.
fire.
I seen that song like I don't know a few months ago or whatever. I don't. Maybe it might have even been another song before that.
song
But
opened
he's being
up-
used for a
It
lot of
opened up
sports.
a bunch of stuff for him when he made this song
Yeah.
from throwing the first,
Yep.
throwing the pitch at the game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no,
Texas game.
he came
capitalized.
up off that like
Yeah.
making a Texas anthem, which I think some people in Minnesota have definitely done and kind of replicated like in our own soft way.
But not that way, right?
Yeah, like a Party Alone making a song about his ex from Minnesota, and it like he reminisces with a lot of people
Party Alone's
out here.
dope.
Yeah, so
Party
they're-
Alone's really dope.
But yeah, that's it's just a whole the Minnesota what reminisces in Minnesota is a little bit different than what reminisces in Texas for like for what's gonna get. Like I seen the Cowboys used his song for their intro for the playoffs.
But-
So it's
but
like
here's-
no one in Minnesota is using that shit.
Here's the thing: is like Texas is all about Texas. It's like
Yeah.
a big pride. We're proud to be Texan.
Yeah,
Right? I just don't think the right artist in Minnesota has tried to do it yet.
yeah, yeah. To
Right.
really stand on because there's like the prof type who gets like a lot of love in like the arenas and like performing
Right.
sold out crowds, but it's also like he's also he's in a different generation than we are of like fan bases and stuff. So there's still like that next person
Prof
up
is
there
the
to do it.
shit, though.
Yeah, prof is.
So when I did that
shit. I
fucking-
fuck with their whole crew.
So when I did that Money Soda with DJ D-Mill and Peter Parker, I did a song called Life Without Friends, which used to be my biggest song. So when I did that, that was the first song I ever put on Apple and Spotify and everything, right? But it was also on the mixtape. Well, Prof also made a exclusive song for that mixtape. I don't use Twitter, but at the time I was trying to use Twitter. I was trying to use anything I could, right? This motherfucker Prof, his label, what are they called?
Stop House.
Stop House. These motherfuckers tagged me and said, on Twitter and said, yo, Life Without Friends is fire, bro. Keep going. Right? Just single me out. So in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm him. I'm up now, Because it's like little wins. And if you don't know any better, you're just like, I'm up. That's all I need to know. I'm up again.
I wonder if they know where you're at in your music career now, because we're really
Doubt
close
it.
with that team, with that crew. I wonder. I mean, they'll see this, but
They don't see this. If they don't know who I am, they will. It's just a matter of time.
yes.
It's booming.
Yeah, speaking on that right now, recent success, you've been going crazy on the TikTok viralness, Facebook viralness, Spotify numbers going up.
Crazy.
You've been doing what I'm trying to preach out here to a lot of artists is just rap your music in front of a camera. Like not everybody is, you don't have to be boot gang and doing crazy stupid shit, but just
No.
be yourself in front,
shouldn't do
on
that.
camera. Yeah, be
You shouldn't do
yourself
that.
on camera, and it can go a long way. But what would you put your recent success on? Like what worked for you? What was it like? What clicked? Because at some point something clicked, and now all these people are recognizing what you've done. They're looking up to you. They're thank you for getting me through these times. Like what was it that clicked for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I just kept going. I just never doubted it. I didn't get my first taste of success until I was 31. Right? That's when I went viral. I'm 32. People probably don't know that because I don't really talk about age or whatever. But I'm an OG, right?
Yeah.
So like, well, nobody is still fucking going hard on music at 31 with the kind of success I was getting. People are doubting themselves now. It's like a little fucking seed that's like
Giving
growing
up,
this
yeah.
fucking, Never that. I've never fucking doubted it. I just knew. I always knew what it would take. And I also said, like I said before, I'm going to be like Tech 9. I'm going to pop later, right? Because he popped like in his late 30s. you know, and it's going to be this gigantic independent thing, this dynasty, right? And I always knew it would be the case, so I never doubted it for a second. I just got lucky though. That's how it goes. People always ask me advice on how to go viral on anything, like what clicks, like what did it, right?
Yeah.
There literally is there's no trick to it, man. It's just staying consistent. Because let's say you got fucking 3 hobbies. One's dogs, bodybuilding, and music. If you're every day posting these fucking 3 things, eventually you will get luck. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but eventually you will get luck. And let's say it's on dogs. Well, damn, now your whole fucking crowd wants to see dogs only.
Yeah.
They don't care about the fucking
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
the gym shit or the fucking music now.
Yeah,
now they only want that. So now you're successful for the wrong things. But if you're only pushing music, yeah. But if you're only pushing music and then music, eventually you're gonna strike on music. And who knows how long it takes? You might be 40 when it happens. But isn't that better than giving up at fucking 27?
Yeah. There's a lot of people that still tour in their 60s and 70s and shit. Music is timeless.
Timeless, bro.
I do understand what you're saying, because our YouTube channel, for example, like our YouTube channel is so oversaturated for different reasons why people are there, whether it's from the George Floyd riots to the Call of Duty events to the music videos to the interviews I do. It's so oversaturated, and it's like it's tough to like, because people got to understand that we do all those things, and they didn't just subscribe to a Call of Duty channel. They subscribe to a media company that covers every fucking thing.
Yeah,
and it's a little tough on that, but like when you're a music artist, you definitely want to just keep pounding what you do, because one day it will hit, and you don't want to only like if you have one that hits and you only have a couple videos prior, you don't have no resume. But if one hits and you have 200 TikToks that they can now scroll through, you have a whole resume for them to be like, oh, he's been doing this. Like, I'm glad I finally found this guy on the rise, like working his ass off and whatnot.
That's what happened with me.
Yeah.
When I finally, Eliza's son is the one that took off, and it takes off every time I post it for some reason. It's the first one to go viral on Facebook with like 400,000 views. Or 300 some change, whatever, you know, and then TikTok multiple times, you know, it's like 750,000, another one's like 400 and something thousand. Instagram not yet, but that'll happen. I know it will. It's just a matter of time. But those songs, Eliza's son is fucking almost 4 years old. It's like 3.5 years old.
Just that's the TikTok magic right there.
Yeah, you just keep pushing that bitch until it go, and then boom, and it goes, and then what? They're like, yo, motherfucker been making music. And that's all they're doing is checking all my shit. And now all my shit's crazy. I'll show you some numbers. I'll show you my last month's streams real quick for anybody that wants to know.
Yeah, because I know I feel that success, because we've had a little spike at the end of 2023 for our Instagram, and that was like our first real taste of we can get 5,000 followers in a month, like on Instagram. Yeah. Like that shit's fucking crazy. Yeah. Like we really went from 15 to 20 in less than a month.
That's fire.
You know, it takes, you know, we're a lot different. It takes a lot of. Let me focus on this for a sec.
That's the last 28 days on Spotify.
124.
I mean, what's that times 12? You feel me? That's over M on Spotify. That's not including my Apple.
We got
up too. The same. It's like the same.
It's been at least a month since Eliza's son's rejuiced, right? Have you got your first check from streaming off of it yet?
Yeah.
Does it felt good to get some actual
pay my rent off music. That feels kind of fire.
Get a comma on there or something.
Yeah, exactly. It feels good though. Yeah. Because all artists, man. Hey, man, fuck that. Look, all artists watching this, man, just don't stop. If you love it and you really want to do it, please don't stop. You will hate your life. You'll become some fucking bitter old person who just like shoulda, coulda, woulda. Then you'll be like that old head eventually who hates on the young dudes that are doing shit and having fun. Just keep doing you. Like,
man, I know so many people out here that are just like that.
Me too, and they all give up. Another thing is a lot of people that I know personally are unfollowing me and unfucking with me for no reason. I thought we were all like, you're artist, I'm an artist, come on. But it is hard to see somebody live your life, live your dream. It's like, you motherfucker. So instead of reaching out and being like, let me get some of that. Like, how much for a feature? Because you know me, so fuck with me on the low. Because I charge a little more now, obviously. Yeah. But every person that's done music or videos or anything with me, they've seen growth. They've seen traction. I mean, I just did a song with a dude who had 70,000 monthly listeners, Young Prophet. And now he's 1,800 plus. You know, in less than a month. Yeah. So everybody's getting traction. These artists that are unfucking with me or whatever because of jealousy or envy or whatever, they really should be reaching out and saying, "What's up, big bro?"
Yeah, and like what?
Put your pride at the side. Let's get it.
People that I always treat it almost like imagine like going to high school with somebody. You had the exact same opportunities. You went to the same place, showed up to the same place from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
But now I'm doing something fun and successful, and you're not now
Yeah.
you'd want to, you can't support it because you
Yeah.
think that somehow I cheated the system or I
Yeah.
got a leg up here and there. It's like, no, we had the exact same opportunity.
Same
You
thing.
seen me down on my ass a couple times, like while you were doing better than me at one point, but now we're both here. But
Well, they should or just put it's pride, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
No,
a lot
definitely.
of artists have pride, especially hip hop, as you know.
Yeah.
Rappers have the biggest pride. I'm gonna be honest, we have the most pride and the highest expectations, but we also got the littlest amount of money we trying to spend and like everything else that comes with it,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, but I mean, how many people wish they would have known somebody, for example, an Ominous, who's like, oh shit, my boy, you're blowing up. We don't got to be besties, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
you should recognize what you got going on.
you trying to fuck with me? Let me get with you. We do a song. How much for the song? Because we go way back. Da 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 da. These dudes would be fucking mind blown on how I would treat them. I've had some people hit me up and they're like, yo, love, whenever.
Yeah, I always
Some
feel
people are-
bad when I give off the bad perception about who I am because I just be doing a lot of shit.
Nah.
I always
but
try to make sure
You did text me
everything's
though, like, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good, bro. Yeah, how you doing?
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we send it off here? You already kind of gave some advice. That's usually my closing comments. Is advice for
Nah,
filmers.
man. But by the time this is out, I'm sure First Ave would have already taken place. That's why we're in town. We got a show, First Ave, 7th Street entry. First time I performed there was 2 years ago. That's a big thing for me because, like, as motherfuckers know, I grew up here. That was always a goal of mine. So I performed there. Shout out to Waterwave, Jake, and all you guys, right, for making that. And then 2 years later, I come back after I'm viral, this and that, and now I'm headlining it. Baby steps. Soon it's going to be the main stage. Then it's going to be Madison Square Garden. Maybe Target Center. That might be the next one. I don't know. Minnesota, I love you. You know that.
Make sure y'all give your flowers where it's due. Make sure you shop with us at 1521 Como Avenue Southeast, Minneapolis, Minnesota, or online at waterwavempls.com if you're out of town. Just
Do
book
that.
your studio sessions at waterwavetv.com. Come record in this beautiful studio that Ominous is sitting in right now. You can come here and sniff his chair, and you can say you sniffed Ominous the Monster's chair.
Yeah.
Follow us at waterwavetv.com. Follow Ominous the Monster.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Everywhere. His Instagram's on the screen in the description.
TikTok, jumping. Fuck with me there.
Tap in before it's too
Facebook.
late, before the feature price go up.
Yeah.
I got you for $10,000 right now per bar,
Yeah.
And-
The sentence. Yeah.
maybe $50,000 by the next week.
Yeah.
But we out. Peace.